they're saying do this course or that course. So whatever the people are saying, so I'm studying each and everything, but I'm not finishing anything because I'm struggling, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do and how to start. Because in India it's different compared to America. Here
Yes.
they will see the experience, age and everything, but in
Yes.
US they welcome like anyone, like as brother said, diversity, they encourage anyone. They don't see the age, they don't see the background of education or experience. But here it's completely different scenario. When I started trying the job, everything they are asking certification and experience. I don't know how to approach, but one day, brother, I didn't share this to you, but now I want to share. One day I'm struggling and I'm crying, and I'm praying to God, Jesus, please open the door somehow. And say, after doing the prayer, that day I opened the Facebook, I saw your text, I saw your message that yeah, if
That
anyone
is
wants,
amazing.
if it is a non-IT or you don't have any experience, please text me. I saw that message, and immediately, without any hesitation, I just texted in Messenger to Ravi Anna. So it's really encouraging, brother, because I'm a scared person. If anyone encourages me, I feel that yeah, I can do it. But somehow, like I'm very scared. But after talking to Ravi Anna, really I felt, yeah, I can do it. I want to do it because I want to see in IT software industry. Because
Yes.
as a computers IT background in education, I can feel that okay, I can do it. But after starting the course QA automation, somewhere again I felt like, oh my God, coding. When I'm seeing all this coding, I felt again wherever after before 4 5 years, how my thinking is there, same again it started. But every day I'm practicing it. But I think that someday I will be in the IT industry. When I
Yes.
see about your in LinkedIn and everything, as a woman, when I saw your profile, it's really encouraging, Miss Puja ji. And
Oh,
after hearing all the sisters in this group, all their introduction, I feel that yeah, we will do it. For sure we will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you
absolutely.
so much, Miss Puja ji, to be here. It's our pleasure to meet you, and it's our pleasure to listen, to learn from your speech. We are eagerly waiting for it. And Ravi Anna, for you also, I always say thank you for you in your messages. But in this open, in front of everyone, I want to appreciate you. And we are so thankful for your efforts and encouragement, Anna. Without you, for sure we can't be able to do this, Anna.
So
For
kind of
sure,
you, Lily.
Anna.
So kind of you. Yeah. You guys are blessing. I met Sister Priya and her family like 7 years ago
Mm-hmm.
in Charlotte in a meeting actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ma, you
It,
will do great. Okay. Yeah.
yes, Priya,
Thank
you
you,
will.
Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody,
Everything will be fine.
everybody will do great with the
Yeah.
network and the
Yeah.
support.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in IT, right? So we if we work in the silos, it won't work actually. We need to have a strong network.
Absolutely.
With the right people and a positive mind, right? So definitely, yeah, we will get there. Yeah. Who is next?
Hi, Puja. Good evening. This is Prashanti from Chicago.
Hi,
Yeah,
Prashanti.
I'm glad to see you today over Zoom. I'm so happy to see all of us, so many of our friends in the QA team also. Thank you, Brother Raviji. I'm so glad. Actually, I'm from Andhra, and I did my engineering. After that, I worked for 3 years as a Java developer, and after marriage, I came here and. It's been almost 12 years. It was a long gap, and I was so scared to enter. I have zeal that I have to go and work, but I'm kind of scared whether I can do it now or not. Like, because of this long gap, how I am going to enter the industry again? But through the Rebecca sister, just one day I was just calling and asking what you are doing. Then she introduced Ravi brother and everything. Like.
Fell in
One,
place.
yeah, we were in the learning curve now, and we enjoying learning QA automation, and
Awesome.
I'm really happy to hear from you. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine.
So Pujaji, we never had this. Prasanthi, sister, thank you so much. So we never had a session like this one, introduction session,
Yeah.
sharing about our, our background. This is the first time we are doing it. Maybe after 3 months.
Yeah,
Your presence made all of us, to
Yeah,
melt
brother,
down and open our heart. Just
Oh,
you can see that,
that's
right? All my sisters actually they start sharing
yes,
from their
brother.
heart.
Yeah, this
Without
is
any
also first
hesitation.
time to see face so many
Yeah.
of our friends over Zoom, brother. This is the first time, I think. Yeah.
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 It's amazing, Ravi. It's so emotional and at the same time it's so powerful. Everybody in the same call.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you, ma. Yeah. Who is next? With camera or without camera, anything is good, but who is next? Yeah. Anybody wants to share? Okay. Lena ji.
Hi. Hi, Puja. Namaste, Ravi. I'm from Maharashtra. As you said, I was working in Pune. In India, I completed my architecture degree. After my marriage, I came to here. I'm working from 4 years in public sector lockbox.
Okay.
Not totally non-IT field, but when I'm from now, I'm in Delaware, and I saw so many my friends, they are working in IT, and then I started to look on YouTube so many different videos, and it like really interested to me. So I thought, okay, let's try this one. And one of my common friend, Prashanti, she told me about the Raviji. And Raviji, thank you very much.
My pleasure, ji. Yeah.
He's helping us. And Puja, nice to have you here. You are really a true inspiration for all of us.
Oh. Thank you. You guys are an inspiration to me. I mean, this is such an emotional communication. I really, and I'm thankful to Ravi too, to give me this opportunity. It's really very precious to me. Thank you.
Thank you. We are so blessed. It's like a win and win. We are all here to encourage each other. Yeah.
Yes.
Like any one of you guys, we have our good days, bad days. We have our battles, struggles. So it's all, it make our day. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Lena ji. Who is next? So it's 8:37, right? So let's wind it up in another 10 minutes. Then let's give it to our speaker, Puja ji. Okay. So please come forward. If you're not comfortable, don't be on the camera, but try to share few words about you, because it's a great opportunity for all of us to know about you. Yeah. Who is next? Just a few words, just whatever you want to share about. Yeah.
Hi, Ravi Garu. This is Padmini.
Yeah, please, Andy. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, Puja Garu. This is my name is Padmini.
Hi, Padmini.
I came from totally non-IT background. Because of Ravi Garu, I'm in this group. I hope I'll finish all my courses and get into IT field. And thank you for being here. And I'm looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi Garu, and thank you, Puja.
Though Padmini is not from IT background, but she's from a great city, Vizag. So definitely she will do great, because I'm from Vizag.
Thank you.
So it's like a self-boasting about my hometown.
Both Ravi Garu and
I never
me
been to
from
Nagpur.
Vizag.
That's why at least let me boast about Vizag.
I think, Ravi, you're from Vizag. I thought you were from Hyderabad for some reason. But good to hear.
Yeah, because in the conference, most of the people like, Tharun and other, those are all from Hyderabad.
Hyderabad,
So
that's why probably. Yeah.
Yeah, Padmini, thank you so much. Yeah, you will do great, ma'am. Yeah. Who is next? Please come forward. See, this is what, this is kind of meetings we have in our stand-up calls in the IT. If we are shy, right? So when it is our turn, so we cannot give the mic to somebody else, right? We have to come forward and talk. It's all about professional. We're all here professional people. It's very, very cool environment. There is no hostility. It's like a pretty safe, cool, good environment, right? We are all, that we are all here to support each other. Yeah. Please come forward. Anybody left? Last time. Anybody wants to talk? Anybody wants to share? Okay, all right then. Okay, yeah, let's respect everybody's time, right? Let's move forward. And Pujaji, it's all yours. And yeah.
Thank you, Ravi.
Please. Yeah, please.
Thank you. And before I start, I want to thank Ravi, and I want to thank everybody on this call who decided to join, and even people who were not able to join. I see that you're recording the meeting, so I'm happy that
somebody requested. Actually, I started recording in the midway, so somebody requested me. Somebody had got disconnected internet, and
Yeah, no, it's always a good idea to record a meeting. I'm in favor of that all the time. So, especially for people who have missed for some reason, it's a good idea for them to go back and catch up. But yeah, you guys, everybody is in very good hands with Ravi. I can tell you that much. I've not known Ravi for a very long time, but we were together at a previous company, and we were blessed to spend maybe 2 days. Was it over the conference? 2.5 days?
Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't remember most people from the conference, but I remember Ravi. Because the first impression that you make, Ravi, is amazing. It's just awesome, and you're very kind and generous, and this initiative is just mind-blowing. I am in total favor of that. I'll do whatever I can to help everybody, and I hope I can help. But thank you for this opportunity. And so what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about my background and how I got into IT. And then over the years, I've been in IT for 18 years, I guess now. I've faced a lot of challenges too, being a woman in technology sector. So I want to talk a little bit about that and what I did to overcome those challenges. It may not be a one size, fits all kind of rule, but I'm hoping that I'll be of some help at the end of the hour. So, and then of course, you guys are free to ask me any question you want, and I'll try my best to answer. So, I grew up in India, and I was told that I am going to be a doctor. And I'm sure everybody is kind of used to that environment in India. My dad, when I was in high school, my dad is like, all right, so are you preparing for your medical school entrance? And I'm like, wait a minute, am I going to be a doctor? And he's like, yeah, what else can you be? You're going to be a doctor, your brother's going to be an engineer. Well, guess what? None of that happened. It's just hard the way, these things are taught or instilled in students in India. But then I tried because it was my father's dream. So I studied to pass the medical entrance for almost 3 years. I did my graduation, and I still kept going to these centers to give the exam. And every time I used to come back, fail. And every time I used to call my dad and I failed again. And he's like, yeah, try again next year. I'm like, okay, how long do I have to do this? And he was like, well, we don't know till you become a doctor. So it was hard at that time. What I'm trying to say is IT was not my first choice. It was never my first choice. The year 2000 happened, and Y2K happened. And I'm sitting in my dorm room, and I am talking to myself, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why do I want to spend 10 years in a medical school struggling to be a doctor, where I can be in IT in the next 3 years, and IT would boom, because when Y2K happened, the whole world knew that the IT sector is going to boom in the next decade. That morning, I decided that I'm going to study for the master's in computer applications. So I started preparing for MCA entrance exams, and then I got selected at the Vellore Institute of Technology in Vellore. So completely from the north, not knowing Tamil, not knowing anything about Southern India, took a train, went to Vellore, got myself admitted. My dad was mad at me at that time that, I couldn't make it into the medical school. So he was like, arrange for your own tuition money. I'm not going to pay for the college fees. And I'm like, well, too bad. I'm going to take a student loan. I took a student loan without knowing the possibility of getting a job 3 years later. But, they say that, if you want to achieve something and you're passionate about it, the universe kind of comes together to help you achieve it. And that's what happened with me. TCS was the first company that came for campus placement, and I was the first in my batch to get selected for that job. So that was just, that was my first win, and that day I thought, oh my God, I can do it. It's not that I was meant to be a doctor. I can do well in this sector too. But what I want to focus on here is, this was 18 years ago. There were not many resources that could help me learn. So most of what I learned at that time was through my network, family and friends, seniors in college, roommates. I met my husband at VIT, we were in the same class, and he was better at, database, and he was better at graphics and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from him too. But what I'm trying to say is at that time, it was mostly self-taught. Right now, each one of you are so lucky to have so many opportunities to learn. And I'm sure Ravi is, empowering you and training each one of you. There's like an ocean, a plethora of trainings out there. And, don't hesitate to just, listen to podcasts, or maybe it's a 5-minute certification, takes a 5 minutes to read that course, and then you get a certification. Don't undermine it. Just go ahead and do it. Any learning is going to be good learning. 18 years ago, things were different, but now they're not. Another thing that I've learned from my experience is that at a junior level, everything can be self-taught. You can self-train yourself, you can do certifications, but as you start moving into a senior level role, you need to get involved in the community. And I think Ravi is doing exactly just that. And even with Rebecca, how you do these prayer get-togethers, that is getting involved in the community. And that is what will help all of us to kind of improve our skill set. It's not only about IT, it's also about being a better person, doing something more for the community. So that's another thing that I've learned. And somebody on the call, I think it was Prashanti, I'm sorry, I'm not very good with names, saying that, when you moved into the IT sector, started learning about IT, you were scared that you won't be able to do it. Or maybe it was Priya. I apologize if I've confused names. But when I first started this, when I first started this, when I went in my first day at TCS training, I walk in there, I'm looking at these trainers, I'm looking at these people who are going to train us in different languages or whatever. And I just thought to myself, I'm not smart enough. Like, I am here, but all the other developers in the world are geniuses. I thought every developer is like an AI, ML, writing video games kind of developer. That's what I thought at the time. But very soon I realized it's not true. It's not true at all. You learn stuff as you go along. Most of the times, all you need is common sense. It's strange that I'm saying this, but being out in the field, and I'm sure Ravi will agree with me, you meet people in the office and you're like, wait a minute, you didn't know that? Like, that's common sense. It has nothing to do with IT. It's just common sense. And the other thing, the other skill set that you need to have is ability to react quickly. And I'm telling you, you've achieved one milestone if you have that already. So never, ever, ever undermine your credibility. Never, ever do that, because you have what it takes to be. It's just, you are the only one who's pushing yourself back. Don't do that to yourself. It's unfair. So it is a learning curve. I'm not saying it's not. It is. Absolutely. Every day is even today, I'm working on something and somebody asked me a question about, some infrastructure question about the server. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know the answer to that. And they're expecting me to answer because I'm leading IT for them, right? And I'm like, I don't know the answer to that, but what can I do? I can research it. So I told my stakeholders, give me 30 minutes and I'll come back with a better answer. I came back to my computer, I Googled it, I put notes together, and 30 minutes later, we had the answer. So it's not rocket science. Each one of us here have the ability to learn, have the ability to succeed, have the ability to flourish, have the ability to lead. It's just, we don't give ourselves that credit. Being a woman in technology it can be hard, I have faced a lot of challenges, and I've seen my other coworkers, women coworkers, face that in the industry. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. And I'm not going to say that, oh, it's going to be a cakewalk, people. There are some challenges that women face in the industry. And Brother Anbu, just, be patient with me. I'm talking about women in technology. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that there is a bias that exists. No offense to you, Ravi, or Brother Anbu. It just exists, and we all have to come together as a society to fight against that. So some of the things that I faced in my previous, I've been very blessed to have great leaders. I've worked with great leaders. My bosses have been awesome. I worked at great environments, but I cannot lie and tell you that I've never faced gender biasness in my life. I have, more than one time. I have, but I just want to bring that up to you so that you're prepared, and you know how to overcome it. So there is a bias about technical credibility out there, consciously, unconsciously, there remains a bias about technical credibility of a female person in technology. So the tech credibility of us women is questioned and, sometimes accepted doubtfully as against that of a male employee. It happens. There is a lack of, that leads to a lack of sponsors. So let me tell you about sponsors. So who are sponsors? Sponsors are people who are in a position of power, who learn of a job opportunity arising in an organization before anyone else does. They then recommend this position to people who they think are suitable for the job. Sometimes us women lack such sponsors because of the prevalent bias against their tech credibility. But based on my experience, and especially in this country, sponsors are very, very vital for job progression. You have to build that network. You have to be good at making relationships. You have to go out there and project yourself as an asset to a job. You may not know everything. I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything, but you have to be confident enough to show them that today you may not know everything, but you have the ability to learn. and you can come up to speed. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for the right attitude at the end of the day. Then there is something else that I'm glad I had this noted down in my speech today, but I noticed that a few of us talked about the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome, and I had that too at some point, but I'm going to talk about how I overcame that in a minute. I had the imposter syndrome. It's the persistent inability to believe that one's success is well-deserved and has been achieved with hard work, legitimately with your own skills and hard work. That, in simple words, it means that when I came back home from work and I got a promotion, maybe I was happy, but somewhere deep within my heart, I thought I didn't deserve this. You know, maybe this was because my leader is nice. Maybe this is because they had to do this for some financial reason. I mean, I would look for excuses, but I never gave myself credit that, no, it is because of me. It's because of my hard work and my skill. That is imposter syndrome. And you know what that did to me? It led to anxiety and it crippled my progress. And with God's grace, I was able to realize that problem. I was able to identify it. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? If I don't love myself, if I don't give myself credit, who else will? You know, so it's very, very vital that all of us get out of that imposter syndrome, have faith in yourself, think of yourself as a success and not as a failure. There is always going to be learning. There is always going to be a learning curve, whether you're at 20, 40, 60, or 80. There's always going to be a learning curve, but let's just not let that come in our way of success. You know, we cannot come in our own way of success. We can't do that. The other challenge that I've faced in the industry is being talked over in meetings. Sometimes that happens, you know, if you are, especially because there are not many women in technology, right? We are in minority. I'm glad that's, you know, and it's increasing now, but especially a women developer. Like, I was a developer all my life. And I would be in a stand-up call in a room filled with men, and I was the only one. And then I would find myself, and this is not every day, but, you know, once in a while, I would find myself being talked over in meetings, being left out in a brainstorming session. There was one time when I was assigned a bug work instead of a feature work, because again, there was a question about my tech credibility. Will Puja be able to handle this? And this was at the last company that I worked for, and enough was enough for me. And I fought for myself. I stood up in that meeting and I said, I am not going to take bug work. I need feature work. And my lead at that time was, I know it's okay. You can take bug work and so can take feature work. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. I want to do feature work. I want to learn. And eventually I got that work on my plate. I completed it before time, and they awarded me the Star Developer of the Year. So, you know, hard work will pay off, but you will have to project yourself. You will have to make some noise. You will have to show them how competent you are. You will have to show them how passionate you are and what you want to bring to the table. You know, you want to do something for the organization, help them succeed. What is it that you can bring to the table? Every hiring manager is looking for that. Why should I hire you and not someone else? So that is something that we need to prepare ourselves for. Because if you don't do that, and it erodes your confidence, it limits your progress, and that is not what we want. I know that each one of us here have the ability to reach heights of success. We do. I have no doubt about that. But we just need to push ourselves a little. a few tips about how, you know, I was known to be an introvert all my life. Like, I thought I was an introvert. I wouldn't talk to much people. I'll tell you a small, it's a funny story, but I think you guys will enjoy it. So my husband, he's in IT as well. He's an extreme extrovert, and I was an extreme introvert. And he was admitted in the hospital, unfortunately, because his appendix had exploded one night. And I had to rush him to the emergency, and it was a life and death situation for him, but God's grace, everything went well and he's fine. And he was in the hospital for 8 days. One day, I came back home to pick up something from him, and I went back to the hospital, and this nurse walks over to me and she's like, Mrs. Bose, is your husband a celebrity? And I'm like, no, not that I know of, you know, I don't know. And she's like, yeah, I think so. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, we've had 100 visitors today. And I'm like, for my husband? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, yeah, he has a lot of friends. I mean, I know that he has a lot of friends just because he's extreme extrovert. And I went into the room and there he was, you know, happy. And I've had 100 visitors today. I'm like, you have your appendix operated and you have 100 visitors. I was in the hospital because of a C-section, and I had 3 friends come visit me. I mean, this is not fair. You know, it was a funny moment at that time, but what I want to point out is that being an extrovert in this world helps. You know, it does help. So I have tried to train myself to be more of an extrovert than an introvert, because it is so important to build relationships around you. You know, and sometimes as women who, you know, are getting back to a career after being new moms or after taking care of the household for a long time, we kind of get convinced, we convince ourselves that, you know, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this because I've been at home taking care of kids for 10 years. No, that's absolutely wrong. You've done the most difficult job that anybody can do, raising a child. This is nothing. Going out and working in an IT sector and proving yourself is nothing as compared to that. So never ever believe in that concept that you can't. We all want to be, you know, likable. I'm a people-pleasing person. I always want to be likable, but apart from being likable, it's very important to be assertive. There is a difference. You know, try to be assertive. Practice saying no. Start from home, you know, just practice saying no. It's hard. It's hard for most people to do that, but we have to do that. Rehearse what you want to say. You know, if you're preparing for an interview, or even talking at an event, or, you know, talking to someone on the phone, just rehearse what you want to say. Body language is so important. Act confident, even if you're not feeling it, you know. The other important thing is to keep emotions in check. Now that I moved into a leadership role, this was a big lesson for me, because I am making the hiring and the firing decisions. Hiring is the easy part. Firing is difficult. You know, how do you call a person in your office and tell them that, all right, from tomorrow, you're not going to have a job? And you've known that person for months, years, and you know that he or she is a single, you know, owner of the family. And how do you do that? But it is your job. You have to do it. So try to keep emotions separate from your profession. So I believe that I'm perfectly capable of taking my coworker or a person who directly reports to me to lunch and have a good chit chat, and come back into the office and call him or her out on some work that he hasn't done. So that's the balance we need to maintain. Another important thing is to find the right leader to work with. Now, some of you might, question me on that and be like, how do you know that the leader is the right person to work with unless you work with that person? Correct. How do you find the right leader then? You start by finding the right environment. You start by researching about the company. I'm sure it won't be long before all of you guys are interviewing for positions. And this is a little tip that I want to give you that has always helped me. I've been on this side of the table interviewing people as much as I've been on the other side of the table being an interviewee. And you always have to remember that it's not only the hiring manager who is interviewing you. You are actually interviewing the company. You want to know what environment it's going to be like, where you want to spend the next year, 2 years, 3 years, or maybe 10 years of your life. You're giving them your time. You must ask them questions. You must find out what their leadership skills are. You must find out what success means to them. You must find out how they treat the other employees. Read about the company. Read reviews. Now there's so much out there, Glassdoor and Indeed and all this. There are reviews out there. Read about it. Read about their financial stats. All those things are public. Sometimes if the company is a public sector, their growth stats are public records. So you can actually go and see how much revenue they made in which quarter. Read it. That will tell you more about the company. Go look at the LinkedIn profile of the hiring manager. Look at his connections or her connections. There's a lot of research that you can do from your end to find the perfect environment for you to work in. Lastly, it's be competent. You know your strengths, but also know where you can get away without knowing everything. That's important too. It's vital to know stuff, but it's not possible to know everything. And nobody is expecting you to know everything. All you need to do is be confident and tick the check boxes. But you can't tick all check boxes that are posted in that job advertisement. It's fine. You can tick some. That's fine too. That should not stop you from trying. That shouldn't stop you from applying to a particular job. I have a funny story about my last job, or the one before it, actually. So I was interviewing for a senior software engineer role. And this was the time before COVID. So there were actual face-to-face interviews, which was way better than virtual. Just an opinion I have. So I went in there and there were 6 people in the panel and they were interviewing me for this position. And this interview went on for 3 hours. And I was so nervous. It started at 10 in the morning. And I was so nervous in the morning that I didn't eat anything. I was like, oh my God, when am I going to get this job? I didn't eat anything. I had no water. I just went straight to the interview. By 1 o'clock, I was exhausted. So by 1 o'clock, I'm like, no, they've asked me way too many questions. I don't think I'm going to get the job. I just want to go home, have a good lunch and take a nap. I mean, I gave up at the end of that 3 hours. The last segment of the interview was with the director. And the director and the executive VP of the company. And I was just tired, and they could tell that I was tired. And they're like, so Puja, there's some questions that you answered correctly, others you didn't. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Very nice to meet you. I'm just trying to cut it short because I'm so tired. And then they're like, it's not about the answers that you gave. It's about your ability to search Google. And I'm like, say what? And they're like, yeah, I don't expect you to remember syntax. I don't expect you to remember what you have learned in college or in any certification program. You're bound to forget it. But do you have the passion that you would go and search Google and find an answer? And I'm like, yeah, Google is my best friend. Of course you can do that. And then they're like, yeah, and then you have the job. And I'm like, wait a minute, 3 hours of grilling and that's what they needed? So every recruitment strategy is different. Every hiring manager is different. What they're testing you is not on how much you know, or of course, obviously they want you to know the technical stuff, but it's also about your attitude and how you react under pressure. That's very, very important. Even if you don't know an answer, you can always say, don't panic. Don't panic. There is no harm in not knowing an answer. Just say that I cannot recollect it at this moment, but I'm sure that, I'm a great learner and I can come up with an answer. So things like that. So practice, these things come with practice. These also come with experience, but I always recommend to do a practice run at home. Find your support network. It could be your spouse. It could be your child. It could be your parent. It could be a friend. Anybody. You have to find that support network where you can talk to them, where you can rehearse with them, where you can, act confident, build a body language, all of that. It's very, very important. Apart from that, I know Ravi was asking me about work-life balance. And how I keep that in check, because I have been going to work every day for the last 18 years. And I have a 9-year-old and he needs my attention too. And I have a husband who needs my attention too. So there are a few rules that I've come up with. Now, this is not like a one-size-fit-all kind of solution, but I can share what I've come up with, and I'm hoping that some of you will relate to that. So the first thing I like to do is I would like to establish a no work zone, and that no work zone can be a corner in my living room. It could be my bedroom. It could be a coffee shop down the road. It could be my car. It could be in the garage. It could be anywhere. But it is a safe haven for me where I will connect with my friends and family, and I will stay away from work. I will connect with myself, most importantly, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself before you start taking care of others. And this is just not relevant to work. This is in general. We have to do this to keep our emotional stability, to keep good emotional health. So that is something that I practice. The other thing is get organized. So what I do is I try to divide my tasks in 2 buckets. One is need to do and one is want to do. And this is not just work tasks, any tasks. Then when I've done that division, then I'm like, all right, everything cannot be number 1 priority, right? People say, oh, this needs to be done now, and this also needs to be done now, and this also, I put them into 4 categories. And this one is like must do quickly, must do in near future, must do but not anytime soon, and the last one, you don't need to do it at all. So once you start kind of get into the habit of prioritizing your tasks, you'll see that life will get easy. Once you have that organization done, maintain a spreadsheet or, a Word document or even notes on your phone, anything which is easy for you, but just kind of jot it down. Like these are must to do tasks. These are need to do tasks, and these are want to do tasks. Now, one thing about need to do tasks is that you have to do them, whether you like them or not. So I'm not going to talk about those. I want to talk about the want to do tasks. You want to take a certification that you've been thinking about taking for the past 10 years, but you haven't got a chance. Put that on your want-to-do list. Allot a timeline for it. Put a calendar reminder for it. And I'm telling you, you will get to it. And once you accomplish it, you will feel so good about yourself. And that is called self-motivation. If you can motivate yourself to succeed, that is the best thing that you can do to yourself. So getting organized is very important in order to reach there. The other thing to maintain work-life balance that I do is I do not hesitate to delegate. I used to be this person where I would be like, oh, I'm going to do this because I can do it right. I'm the person who can do it right. And I wouldn't delegate it, not even to a coworker or not even to someone who reports to me. But then I realized that what if that person does it better than I do? You know, being a leader, it's my duty to empower people around me, to train people around me. And even if it is not my subordinate, it could be a coworker. And then I decided to start delegating work. Okay, this is something that you're good at. Why don't you take care of this? This is something that you're good at. Why don't you take care of that? And then that frees up my time to take care of mission critical tasks. Now think of this same exact thing in your household. Most of us are, you know, in a family situation. We have spouses, we have kids, and we have chores divided. All right, either the wife is responsible for cooking or the husband is responsible for cooking, you know, or cleaning, or vice versa. But when was the last time, you know, you delegated something to someone in the house? I don't think I can, you know, I don't think most of us can remember doing that, because we are like, oh, I want to cut the onions because I cut them so well. No, have you tried giving it to someone else? So think of it that way, you know, delegate. That frees up your time, that frees up your mind, that gives you an opportunity to maintain that work-life balance. Having said that, the balance does not have to be 50-50. We will never be able to achieve 50-50 balance. It's not going to work. You have to accept that there will be days where work needs you more. And then there will be days where family needs you more. It's always going to be like an ebb and a flow, and you have to be comfortable with that. So, I mean, those are the few things that, you know, come to my mind when I think of work-life balance. And I think it's important for all of us to kind of train our minds to be there. We are all in IT sector. You all are going to do great. You all are going to get there. You all are going to do whatever it needs to be done, whatever it takes. And you will soon, I'm pretty sure that each one of you will soon be, you know, in a respectable IT job and fulfilling your dreams. And I wish you all the very best to achieve that. I don't know if I took more time than was allotted to me. I'm sorry, Ravi. I kind of got emotional while talking, but yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted to share. But I can keep the boat open. If you have any questions for me, any comments, I'm here to answer.
Hey, Puja, Jerusha again.
Hi,
That
Jerusha.
was a great speech, I can say.
Oh,
It was
thank
very
you.
inspiring, very thoughtful of you, spending your time with us. I know it means a lot to me and us as well.
Thank you. Thank you
so much. And regarding this, I have a question.
Sure.
So you said you mentioned that during, like, you know, when you have to balance, you have to delegate work with your co-workers or whoever it is. So if I am new to your company, when I'm new to your company, I do not know many people. And how can I approach them to delegate my work? Like, how can I reach them out?
Yes, that is a great question, Jerusha. And that brings us to the point of building that support network that I'm talking about. So I'm going to give you an example of what I've done in the past. So when I was working at American Express, I was put in a team of, let's say, 5 people. So my daily coordination was with these other 4 people and a team lead. But I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn more about other teams. So I would go out of my way and talk to people. I would go out and talk to the architect. I would go out and talk to, the vice president. If he's walking around in the break room, I'm like, how is it going? What's new today? It takes a little bit of an effort to build that support network. Once you start building that support network, then it's very easy for you to understand other skill sets and their perspectives. And then when you have some work, then you're like, wait a minute, I was talking to so-and-so yesterday. He or she might know the answer to this. And that's how you reach out for help. So it has to be, you have to be more proactive than reactive. Start from day one, start building that network is what I would say.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Puja ji, thank you so much for the tip. Definitely it will help. It will be great help to a person like introvert like me.
You are not an introvert. Come on. No, Ravi.
Puja ji, thank you
Yes.
so much for all the tips and that you have given. Is very helpful. We have been writing here, and then definitely it will be helpful. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First thing is about the resume. Like how you want us to put ourselves, advertise about ourselves when we are going to the resume. And
Sure.
Second question is about, in the work environment, is it okay to respond first? I told you, I did my CCNA, right? In the system administration world, many are the men. I am the only woman in out of 35 team members. Okay. So in that, what I will see is if somebody is if I know the answer and quickly I respond in Teams chat and all, then I will feel bad. Why I did respond? I could have waited, let them respond. So is this kind of, sometimes even I know the answer, I will hold on and I'll sit, but sometimes I respond and I will feel bad. So what do you think in that situation? What kind of an approach is good? Could you please?
Sure. So both of those questions are great. Let me tell you about the resume first. So, excuse me. I'm the hiring manager for my company, and I'm going to give you the other side of the story, right? From the hiring manager perspective. And let's say I have 3 requisitions open right now, and I'm interviewing people. When the resume comes on my table, I do not have time to read it line by line. Okay, and it's not rude. It's just the way it is. I'm looking for a resume that is crisp. I'm looking for a resume that is highlighting what my requisition requires. So I have a requisition in mind, and I have it in mind that, all right, I need a person with skill set A, B, C, and D. Now, when I'm looking at the resume, I want to look for the A, B, C, and D first. Right? So whenever you're building a resume, try to match it with the position you're applying to. Every position is different. That may mean that you might have to tweak your resume a little bit for every position, which is great, which is a great exercise. It's a little time taking, but in the long run, that helps. So try to pick up words from the job requisition and try to add them into your skill set, or try to add them into your description, wherever it fits, of course. You can't put something that is incorrect, but if it fits your skill set, then highlight it. All right, talk about your strengths first. So when you're talking about, past experiences, or in case of many of you guys who've not worked for a long time, put in there that you've been a homemaker for this much time, you've been taking care of this, like your entrepreneur experiences. Put everything counts. So put everything on the resume and try to highlight what the hiring manager actually needs. Does that answer your first question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now talking about the second one, it could be, again, an introvert extrovert thing at this point. It could be how you present yourself in a social circle. But my personal opinion would be, if there is a question posted in a group chat or in a group meeting, and if you know the answer, say it. I would say, I don't have any reason to hold back my answer, right? I am going to work to prove my skill set. I am going to work, and they're paying me for my knowledge and my expertise. The reason that the question is posted out in the open is that people are looking for an answer. And if I have the answer, I shouldn't be hesitant about saying it. Now, the way you say it, yes, that could be different. You can put it in a way that, based on my understanding or based on my experience, I think this can be the solution. Try to be humble about it. Try to show as though that you're not showing off yourself. You're not boasting. You're not telling them that, oh, this is the right answer and this has to be the right answer. No, you are in the learning curve yourself. You're just telling them that based on your understanding, this could be the solution. And then you're welcoming other thoughts as well. So at the same time, welcome other people to give their solutions as well. Ambitious professionals love that all-inclusive kind of environment. If I'm in a team and I'm brainstorming with the stakeholders and I'm like, oh, I think this could be it. But then I always end that with a follow-up question asking, what do you think? Do you think this would work? So that kind of, projects that you have an answer, but you're willing to learn more. Does that make sense?
Yes. So,
okay, awesome.
Yeah, Puja,
Hi,
Sushma here. Hi. Thank you all for all the valuable inputs and the guidance you have given to us.
My pleasure.
I have one question.
Sure.
See, we are from varied backgrounds, and the gap we have from a student life and to start a career or learning curve or something. Suppose we had a bunch of technologies learned and a good, catching up with the technology kind of sense, and then we are ready for a position. Okay. So how do we project ourselves, just like it is added to her Prashanti's question?
Yeah.
How I have seen resumes of IT people, they are like list. The list never ends. Looking at the resume and those technologies, my mind blows. So, so that is their experience and their talents from maybe 10 plus years or 15 plus years or so.
Correct.
But we now, as a fresher, we are not actually freshers, but still freshers to the industry.
To the industry, yes.
Yeah. So how do you think we need to, what kind of technologies I need to put? Do I need to fake? Or I'm a kind of person, of course, all of us do not want to fake, but I want to be just
myself. I understand. I understand your question. So Sushma, what I think is, you're looking at resumes for 8-10 plus year person. You also want to look at resume for a 1+ year person. Everybody has to go through that phase to get to the experience, right? You have to add up to the experience. I am not in favor of faking at all. All right. If I know it, I know it. If I don't know it, I can learn. I'm not going to not know it forever. I'm going to know it at some point in my life, but right now I don't know it. And that's perfectly fine. You don't have to highlight something that you don't know. What you need to highlight though is your soft skill. is your willingness to learn. What you need to highlight is that maybe you've been out of IT sector for a long time, or you've never been in it, but who knows, you may have a great leadership quality. You know, so you have to find your strengths. You have to find what is it that you can do for that company that nobody else can do. If I have a position open and I have 2 candidates, what do I look at? I look at their skill sets, of course. If both have equal skill sets, what do I look at? I look at their attitude. Everybody wants a person that they can get along with. Everybody wants an employee who's easygoing, who's dedicated, who's passionate. And no offense to any other culture, but I think Indians rate the highest, you know, and I've seen that in my career. Nobody is as dedicated, as passionate as us Southeast Asians, I would say, not only just Indians, but, you know, just try to find your strength. If you've done a certification of some sort, highlight it. If you've done a certification that would take 20 hours and you finished it in 10 hours, that means you're fast, right? You're fast, you have great learning ability, highlight that. So you have to find your skill set that matches their job requisition and then kind of put it on there.
All right. That's great. That's great. So basically, wherever we stand, we need to highlight how different we are to the normal group. Okay.
From what is different about you than any other candidate who may have 10 years of experience. And it's not true. As a hiring manager, I'm telling you, it's not what we look at, whether it's 3 years experience or 13 years experience. I'm looking at the person's attitude. I am looking whether that person will stay within the company or is going to leave in 6 months, right? There are so many variables. There are so many things that go on the hiring manager's mind. So try to cover everything. And once you get past that first screening and you get to the face-to-face interview, that's your chance to prove yourself. Because your presence, your body language will in itself be, you know, a highlight. And then people may not think about where you're lacking, you know. So try to think of it that way.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Hi, Puja. This is Leena.
Hi, Leena.
Yeah, hi. Thank you very much. Your all tips are very good. I want to know more about like how to create your networking skills.
By networking, you mean social networking, or are you talking about networking in IT?
Yeah, networking in IT. So see, if right now I'm working for city,
Okay.
I'm in public sector. So I want to go to IT field.
Okay.
And I want to look jobs within the city.
Okay.
How I have to approach it.
Okay, so first of all, the first thing that I'm going to ask, and this is going to be a good food for thought for all of you present on the call. Do you know where you want to be in the next 3 years? Do you imagine yourself? Can you imagine, close your eyes and imagine yourself, what is the job that you're doing? What day-to-day responsibilities you want to hold? Do you want to go in hardware infrastructure, networking IT? Do you want to go fix keyboards and computers? Do you want to be a developer? Do you want to do something with HTML? Do you want to be a front-end developer? Or do you want to be a business analyst? So there's so many diverse fields. But it's important to understand where you want to be. Once you know that, I would suggest start connecting with people via social media, right? I know Ravi was telling me that not all of you are on LinkedIn. I think that should be your first step today. Create a LinkedIn profile, put your skills on there, put your hobbies on there. Don't worry about putting stuff that you don't have. Put stuff that you have. You have way more than others, right? Put everything over there, create a LinkedIn profile, make connections, find your old school friends, find somebody that you worked with 10 years ago. There is no harm in reaching out to the community. If you step out, put one hand forward, I can guarantee there'll be 10 people at least coming to hold that hand. You know, so start reaching out to family and friends. That's one thing that I would do. The other thing that I do is, read articles, watch YouTube videos. There's a lot of information out there. The habit that I've developed every day is, while going to work, my drive is around 30 minutes or so, I listen to podcasts. There are tons and tons of podcasts for people aspiring to be in the IT sector. They're all free. Most of them are free. Listen to podcasts while you're driving, while you're doing your groceries, while you're cooking, while you're in the gym. All of that just helps. There is just so much information out there. Does that answer your question, Lena?
Yes, thank you very much.
No worries.
Puja, can I add a point on it?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Lena ji, there are a lot of community groups, actually. There are a lot of community groups wherever we see. One blessing of this country is US is wherever you live, whatever city, right? There are a lot of community groups, and there are a lot of professional groups, and there are a lot of after hours learning groups. That's how I network with people. I love networking with people. So many times after I finish my work at Incom, Puja ji, I stop by at Georgia Tech, I stop by at Buckhead after our learning groups. That's where you make really, you meet a really professional people, because that is after hours. People are in a, it's like a joyful mood, right? So you really connect with a lot of people, professional people. I met a lot of vendors. I met a lot of professional people there, and a lot of community groups, actually, because anything, if you go for any servicing, right, the people show up. Some of the people, they might be in same stream. So one time we went to the Georgia food bank gardening. Actually, we have to go and pluck some vegetables or do some gardening. A lot of muddy work in the rainy. But we happen to meet a lot of people there. Some of the people are from IT background. So that's why in this country we don't have to look around for opportunities. Just we have to open ourselves and embrace the opportunities. That's all.
Yes, and good you mentioned that, Ravi. That reminds me of there is a group called Women in Tech, the WIT group, and that's a global organization. That's on a global level. But every city has their own group, like Women in IT kind of group, and then that could be something, Lena, that could interest you, and try to look up that.
Yeah, I found that there are some groups in Charlotte. I'm sure pretty much there are a lot of groups, actually. Nowadays it's a COVID time, right? But at least we can get connected virtually. See, because in Atlanta, I'm throwing some example, right? There are Java groups, there is like a Kubernetes groups, there are a lot of AWS groups. You find a tons of groups.
Yes.
Yeah. Take advantage of them. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Any questions?
Hi, Puja. This is Soumya.
Hi, Soumya.
So, I really like the way you started, like how you enter into this IT field. I was like going in the flashback. Almost everybody life start like that only.
Right.
So how we started and how we ended up in the college. Although you were a bright student, you are doing everything good. I was also like one of them. But still, sometimes we don't know what is our path, where we want to go, like that. And family and friends sometimes helps also, sometimes confuse also. Sometimes the family conditions are like that you have to choose that option.
Correct.
Okay, so that is another thing. So I also like got selected for my MBA. I finished my MBA like how like everybody in the college, like full of enthusiasm, like yes, we can do it. That's, I think that same thing we have to bring it now also. I feel like, and I remember when I got selected for my first campus placement, out of 500 students, we were like 5 students only got selected, and I was one of them. So that much confidence, I got it over there. But like, yeah, things change. 2008, it was the time the peak recession came. So like
Yeah.
most of the people lost their job, and I think
Yes.
somehow I survived. Like, yeah. So we moved to Bangalore, and everything was good. I was trying for job there. So by the time I was searching for the job, so I thought, like, okay, while searching, let's join the teaching field. Some of my
Yeah.
friends suggested me that why don't you come and join us when you are searching the job? So it's a good suggestion. I joined that, and you won't believe that there I built a network because
Yeah.
parents love me. The way I was teaching their kids, because when you are in the office, your mind is like, our child should be taken care nicely.
Of course.
So when your teacher is good, parents are ready to help you like anything.
Help. Yeah.
So
Of
you won't believe, I got some 5 or 6 people cards. They give me their vision. Whenever you want to enter in the IT, please call us.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I got selected for one interview in one of a very big companies called, I don't want to take the name, okay, leave it. So after the 3 end of interview, and that is through one of the parents.
Okay. Okay.
He
Awesome.
recommended me. That's how my resume got selected, and somehow I did that job and everything, that I came back to US here. But whether you are working, not working, the person inside you is always alive. The way you are, the how
Yes.
you behave, it
Yes.
never changes. It never changes. Something natural to you. So here again, I don't have the work visa, but again, my life started. I have the kids. I enjoy that period of life. Like if you can say, like I got free with one responsibility now, so I
Yes.
can start my career with free mind.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
am taking in a positive way like that. So here also, when I got into the teaching job, because I thought, okay, my kids are small, they can go with me and I can come with them. So like together we will be like, so
Yeah.
there also, I am a very like extrovert person, love to talk to people. I'm a chatterbox. So like what you are
That's
doing
great.
and like that, there also you won't believe that people gave me their number. Whenever you want to enter in IT, just call us. And I
Yeah.
want to share right now I'm not successful, but this is kind of thing keeps me positive. So I want to share with all of my friends here. Like 2 days back, I was having my phone, and I was like scrolling down. I got the yellow slip. In that yellow slip, the parents write her
Yeah.
number. Whenever
Yeah.
you need me, just call me. I was so hesitant to call her. It's almost 2 years. You won't believe.
Yeah.
I was like, I should call her or not. I should call her or not. I was like, I don't know. So I just gave her a message. Hi, this is Soumya. I am your child's teacher in XYZ school. So just give me a call whenever you are free, and what is the good time to call you back. Within a 2 minutes, she called me. Within a 2 minutes, and
Wow.
she works in ADP,
Okay.
and such with a good experience, and she's like, I will love to help you. I don't know why you are so hesitant. And I was like, oh my god, people, so many good people are here. I just came across with all kind of people. Like there are people who are on a successful position, but they try to make you feel down. Oh no, nothing. So I meet both kind of people. So I will say the people who are making you down is actually encourage building your confidence.
Yes. Yes. I'm
Pushing
glad
you. No, if
it that
she's
way.
saying no, I can do it. Okay,
Yeah.
I can't give the liberty to anybody to decide on my career. So, but
Correct.
thank you for telling me this. This is like boosting me myself to move and achieve my goal actually. So I used to
Yes.
thank to those people and take it in a positive way.
Yes.
So while listening to you also, like whether I'm in the actual environment or not, but people are like this all over the world. So like you will meet this kind of people only. So
Yeah.
ultimately be yourself, and like you said, be yourself, and sometimes you have to change also according to the situations and all. Just so
Yes.
I noted down so many points you have said
Oh,
to me, and that will really help me to keep my mind positive, and I'm sure I will do something good with me. I'm
of
sure.
course, Samya, of
So
course.
yeah,
And it is so nice to hear you say such things, that just it kind of brings tears to my eyes, because I know that there is a fire within all of us present
yes,
here. And we are capable of achieving anything. We can achieve anything. It's just a matter of faith. It's just a matter of discipline. It's just a matter of passion, you know, and I'm very proud of each one of you, you know, that you've taken this step towards a goal. You have a goal in mind and you want to achieve it. I just want to share something that my dad always tells me. He's 75. Yeah, he's actually turning 76 this year. 75. He's retired 4 times. Yes, the first time he retired, he's like, Puja, I'm done. I want to relax. Yeah, I'm done. And 3 days later, he was looking for a job. And I'm like, Dad, he was 72 at that time. I'm like, Dad, you know, you don't have to look for a job. He's like, no, what am I going to do? I want to look for a job. Okay. He went to work the second time. At 73, he's like, no, Puja, I think I'm really done. You know, I can't put in 8 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. And come time 3, time 4. The last time he was here, he's been in this retirement mode for almost a year now. And he was visiting me and he's like, I need your help. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you're in IT, right? I'm like, yeah. It's so funny. My parents think that I can fix keyboards and motherboards. And so anything related to computers, I can do because I'm in IT. And they're like, so you know how to work on a Word document? I'm like, yeah. So can you build my resume? I'm like, are you kidding me? You're 75 years old. And he's like, yeah, I want to apply for this job. So, you know, he inspires me. And there is no dearth of people like that in the world. There's more good in the world than there is bad. And he always tells me one thing that has become the motto of my life is everything is going to be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. You know, you know, you guys are doing great. And I'm so happy you shared that, Samya. I'm really, really happy to hear your experience. All the very best.
Thank you so much. You also, like, having you here is so inspiring, actually. Yeah.
Oh my God, that means so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Puja, I have a small question to ask you.
Yes.
It was nice to have you and get all the inputs and, you know, the wise and the wisdom that you achieved all these years. But if we want to get in touch with you or in future, if you have any questions, is it through Ravi or email or LinkedIn, or do you have anything?
Yes, so I'm going to put my contact in the chat here so it's easy for everybody to see. I'm going to put my email address and also my cell phone number. I am on WhatsApp. Do not hesitate to text me any time of the day. I sleep only 8 hours. The rest of the time, my phone is
Good,
so let me put it here. Do not hesitate to contact me. I'm not a frequent visitor on Facebook because I think like that takes away too much of my time, you know. But I am very, very frequent on LinkedIn. So I think Ravi shared my LinkedIn profile as well.
Yes.
But I'm going to share my email here for you guys.
Thank you so much.
No worries at all.
We would like to be in touch with you and learn more from you. Of
course, and I would like to be in touch with you too. And if Ravi is not very mad at me for taking so much time, I hope he'll invite me again.
No, please. I mean, you are amazing, Pujaji. That's what I told him. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we are all in agreement. Yeah.
Thank you, Ravi. No, I don't have much to say, but what I was saying was, you know, please invite me on other sessions as well, you know, not as a speaker, but also as a participant. I want to learn with you guys, you know, I want to see what everybody's doing. And I would love to see each one of you placed at a good company very soon.
Thank you so much.
No worries at all. I shared my email address and my cell phone number. Here, you guys have my LinkedIn profile, right? Or should I share it here as well?
Yeah, we had.
Okay. Awesome. There are not many with the same name, so you'll find me.
Hi, that will be the last name.
Yeah, it's unique. Yes, hi. Is that Kalpana?
Hi, Puja, this is Deepti.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you for out of your experience. Thank you for sharing your valuable feedback, valuable thoughts.
of course.
And yeah, I really like the quote that you mentioned, like we cannot pour out of empty cup, right? So
No.
I always get, in Bible also it says that we should be like filled, so
Yes.
that we can give, we can extend our hands or things. So I really, got encouraged by that quote, and it reminded me. And I went back so many, like, after listening this quote, I went back and collected all my strength and
Yeah.
what I was and things. So it's so great to have you today. And yeah, I have a small question.
Yes.
I always have an impression, like, before we face any interviews.
Hmm?
So I kind of like we should be good at both theoretical and hands-on. And so I always struggle because I cannot be perfect in everything, whatever I put in a resume. But so
Sure.
I need some suggestion on that, because I struggle a lot if I put something which I have a little bit idea, but I struggle. And I always look the weak part, like, oh, I put this one, so I may get question from this area, so what should I do? So I have knowledge, but not like enough. So I feel all the time like that. And one more thing, do we get, once we enter into the industry, do we get enough time, like to come to solve our problems? So do we get enough time to search? Sometimes no, we cannot, we don't have much knowledge on
Yes.
everything, right? So I want that, right? So do we get enough time to solve, to achieve their expectations?
Yes, yes, I'm glad you asked these two questions. They very, very good questions. So let's start with your first question. You are hesitant about putting something in the resume that you think you're only familiar with that, and not, you don't have much hands-on. So again, this goes back to what I said before. Do not hold yourself back. Any knowledge is good knowledge. It may not be up to their expectations. I'm not saying it always is going to be, but once you put something, if you are familiar with something, put it over there. Do not hesitate. Don't be scared that they're going to ask questions about that and then you won't know. Well, how will you? Then you can never put that thing on your resume, right? So start putting it there. Now, if they ask you questions and you don't know, be frank, tell them that I am familiar with this concept. I'm still learning. I'm self-taught. I'm doing trainings on this. I'm sure I will be able to know this answer soon. But is this something that you absolutely need for this job? Then, I can show you a certification before you actually give me an offer. Give them a counter. Show them that you're proactive. Show them that you're willing to learn more, even though you're just familiar with it. But just put it out there. In my resume, I have things from 2004 when I was doing my internship in Honeywell about RFID tags. Now, that is like more than a decade ago. I don't remember anything about it right now. But if I had to go into a project, let's just say I had to go back to a development project for RFID, I'm going to use that experience no matter how much it is, right? I worked on it, but I'm not in touch with it. But that doesn't mean I don't know it, So don't hold yourself back on that one. The other thing, what was your other question? I'm sorry.
So yeah, so do we get enough time
Yes, I apologize. Yeah, so about time. I think the most important thing is to get organized. Organize your day in such a way that you spend, let's say you keep 30 minutes of your lunch break if you're eating lunch on a desk, or now that everything is virtual, everybody's working from home in a hybrid environment, keep 30 minutes of your day for yourself. Keep 30 minutes of your day for your own research. Read an article, watch a YouTube video about how to, there's so many things out there. Learn a new language. Just 30 minutes a day is more than enough. So you will have to carve that time out from your day. Yes, there will be days where you will be slammed. There will be deadlines to meet, but that doesn't happen every day, right? There is enough time to answer your question in short. There is enough time to increase your skill set. What I want you guys to think about is don't think about a job as something that you have to stick with for years and years and years and years. Think about your growth first. Think about how you are growing, how you're working towards growing your resume. So you are giving something to the company, your expertise, your skill set, but you're learning something from the company too. Every time you move from one job to the other, you have gained experience. So don't forget about your personal growth. The first thing that, my candidates who I'm interviewing, they ask me is, do you have a learning module, a training module in place? You know what that tells me as a hiring manager? They want to learn more. That's a plus. That's a plus. They don't know Java, or they don't know HTML, but they're willing to learn. So if I can give them 3 months, they'll probably come to an intermediate level. So always think of it that way. There's always time, Dipti. We just need to make it.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Puja, for such great tips. So good to hear your professional and personal experiences.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
It definitely boosted our confidence.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for your time.
Thanks to you guys. Thanks to each one of you.
We have just four more minutes. Do you still have any questions for Pujaji?
Thank you, Pujaji. Thank you for your time and your tips. It was really good and it was very positive and encouraging. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anbu. I wish you all the very best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Pujaji. This is Swati. And really inspiring. I'm sorry I joined in the middle. Today is my husband's birthday. We were having some party. Sorry.
Oh, awesome. We missed the party. Happy birthday to him.
Thank you. But definitely I'll look at the recording again. I missed the first half, I guess. But the second half is totally inspiring, for people like us who, I worked as a business analyst before, but it's not that, I'm not that happy. It's not that promising. I came across, as you said, I came across different people who try to degrade you.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like, even though if it's their mistake, it's from the client side, but they show their frustration, their anger towards you. But again, at the end, you need to be quiet. Again, they realize and like, okay, that's fine. But how do you handle I know you came across such situations before. So how do you handle those kind of people?
It can be hard, Swati. It can be hard. I've been through that, like I said, more than once. There is a lot of, I won't say being abused is a very strong word. I don't want to use that word, but it is actually very strenuous on your mental health when that happens, but you have to be strong. And the one thing I always believe is in any feedback is good feedback. Absolutely. I mean, you have to memorize that as a mantra. Any feedback is good feedback. Once you start getting into that, attitude, then nothing will stop you and nothing will disappoint you and nothing will put you down. The other thing is, when people, there will be people who will try to belittle you or undermine your technical capabilities, or, kind of you'll be talked over in a meeting. Just project yourself, be confident. Be confident, talk, and be like, no, why are you doing this to me? I deserve this. Don't be afraid to speak up. You will never be penalized for speaking up, but be polite. I'm not asking you to be rude. Be polite, but speak what you think is right. Anybody who is undermined, they're not supposed to do that, especially. And that's why I always say that it's very important to work in the right environment. Sometimes we get stuck in the wrong environment, but again, it's up to us to handle it. The other thing that I wanted to bring up really quickly, I know I have 1 minute, was that, we talk about success, and Soumya mentioned that, people, we don't feel successful. Think about this. This is a food for thought for you guys till next week. What does success mean to you? Every person on this planet has a different definition for success. Success means different things to different people. For somebody, it could mean making $50 an hour. For some other person, it could mean spending 4 hours with their child. For somebody else would mean trying to make round rotis. That's success. It just means different things to different people. So think about what is it that makes you feel, oh, I am successful? Is it the money? Is it the job profile? Is it the person you work with? Is it completion of a project? Is it being able to maintain that perfect work-life balance? It could be anything. So before we move any forward, that is a question that we all need to answer to ourselves, just to ourselves.
Right. Thank you so much, Puja. That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Swati.
And just one last question, if we have a few seconds. Like, if your team members or the client doesn't share the work knowledge, so what do we do?
All right. So what you can do is that you have to kind of escalate it at some point. So if one team member doesn't share, try to reach out to others in the same discipline who would be able to share. If they don't share, try to reach out to your supervisor or maybe another member from another team that I'm trying to look for this. Where can I find it? Do you know where the knowledge base in the company is located? I can go search for it, things like that. Most importantly, if the documentation does not exist at all, take the initiative to write it so that nobody after you will have the same exact question.
Yeah, but I went into a company, I had a team where nobody did the knowledge transfer to me, that I was in such a pathetic and stressful condition. Like, what do I do? Whom should I reach? Because every single person in my team is not, they were not ready to share their knowledge. So that was really big trouble for me. So 3 months I was in a lot of stress, and that really impacted my health. So I just took a break.
Yeah, no, that I'm so sorry to hear that, Swati. And when I feel sometimes, there is a CC on your email for a reason. The reason is to add supervisors in there. So the person you're trying to reach to, if they are not helpful, they're not cooperative, do not hesitate to CC your boss or their boss. And you're not asking for something unfair. You're asking for your right. You need the knowledge base to do your work. So it's very important that you tell them that you do not have the right resources for you to work. So you need the right resources. So I think that could be a strategy moving forward.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just pointed out on that to my supervisor who hired me, that my resources are not doing a good job. I mean, I didn't say in a negative way, but they are not, they don't have the right knowledge, and they are not doing the knowledge transfer as well. But unfortunately, it didn't work. So
No, but these are lessons learned, Swati. No lesson,
Yeah.
no experience in life is going to go waste. So now
Right.
you know, now you have a better idea to deal with the situation like that if it ever comes up in future. Because you will be accountable for your work, whether or not somebody
Right.
helped you or not. At the end of the day, you're accountable for your work. And
Right.
so it's very important that we arrange for all the resources we need so that we can give our best.
Sure, right. Yeah, I'm actually from a non-IT background as well. I'm from life sciences.
Yeah.
So jumping into IT and with very less technical knowledge, that was really challenging. But thanks to Raviji for
Of course.
introducing you and for all the wonderful team for guiding us to a successful career. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Looking forward for a good career. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really inspiring.
No problem, Swati.
Thank you, Puja. We heard so much. I mean, very encouraging session, and I'm so happy that I was hearing all of my sisters, other sisters, and their experiences. So definitely, it is a good adding to our career and as well as to our resume, to our experience. I just want to say thanks to you and brother. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish all the very best to each one of you. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. Definitely.
Have a good night.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Puja ji, thank you so much, and
Ravi.
you are most welcome. And I will keep checking your calendar and schedule. So
Yes.
yeah, but please do come again, and yeah.
Yes,
share.
absolutely. I love all of you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Thank you, Puja.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful
Thank you.
day.
Have
Good
a
night.
great night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you,
Good night.
brother.